A couple of things really stand out about the last battle. And the first thing is, man, that was a lot of fun. I mean, I have played this battle several times, and that was so much fun. And so much fun, particularly because the first time I played it, I took defensive positions in those fortifications, and those fortifications are terrible. The enemy will attack you, inflict one-to-one casualties against you, rout your units, take both your flags, and it'll be a desperate, desperate fight, and you'll probably lose 15,000 men. It is really a bad, you just get beaten up. And this battle, I got to beat up on the enemy, and that felt really good after getting, the first time beaten up so badly by the South. However, the casualties were too high. And looking at the battle, it's really obvious to me that a couple of things could be changed to really cut those casualties down to about 4,000, maybe 5,000 easily, and inflict about the same damage on the enemy. It wouldn't be quite as much fun, but it would be more efficient. The first thing that comes to mind is to get the situation on the forward flank on that river squared away. When your units are moving around like they were for me, you have to get them to stop doing that, because while they're moving around, they're not firing. And I took way too many casualties down there because I just couldn't get the units into the right position. And I've played this battle before many times where the units were in the right position and it went much, much better. So it's much easier to get your units into position before the enemy shows up. After the enemy shows up and they're firing at you, it's a lot harder. So that would be something I'd recommend. As soon as you cross over that river or bring your troops up, get into a really good position where your units have space between them, so they're not going to bump into each other and start moving around. That's really just a game mechanic that you have to master. And having units overlapping each other and using the hold button is only good for a very short time. I think the units do not do as much damage to the enemy when they're in that condition. So that's one thing. Going after the enemy, short attacks that inflict a lot of damage is okay, but I think particularly on the right flank, going after the enemy was not productive. Taking up good, covered and concealed positions with artillery support and letting the enemy attack me would have done just as well, if not better. It would have done better in the sense that my artillery units would have gotten a lot more experience. As it was, chasing after the enemy, the artillery couldn't keep up, and that was really reflected in the low kill rate, the low number of kills that the artillery units got. So, and finally going after the enemy on the left in the end, I knew when I did it I was going to take additional casualties, and I accepted that because the whole point of this playthrough is to inflict as many casualties on the enemy as possible and see what that does to the manpower pool. But for the next game, and anyone watching this, my advice would be, don't necessarily do that. Take a look at the casualties that you're going to lose by doing something like that, and is it worth it? And as I look at these results, no. The answer is no, it's not worth it. I could have lost 3,000 or 4,000 less men and gotten a kill ratio of 5 or 6 to 1. And in the course of the campaign, that would have been a better outcome. Of course, that really doesn't take away from the fact that this was really fun. So there's a trade-off. Anyway, that's my, I'm already planning for my next playthrough and what I'm going to do. And what I'm going to do next time is definitely buy more cav, one less infantry unit, at least one additional cav unit, and a 20-pound Parrot unit. And I will not push up the 6-pounders to 24 guns. I'll keep them at 12 or 14. And I might even start investing. I mean, the point of this playthrough is I'm just going to use the weapons the game gives me. I'm not going to buy many weapons. And but in the next game, I'm going to buy 24 or 20-pound parrots and maybe 10 pounds ordnance, because that's a really good gun too. And batteries of 12 to 14. And I did buy 24-pound howitzers in this game, but in the next playthrough, and I end up with a bunch of batteries of 24-pound howitzer. But in the next playthrough, I'm going to have even more. And I'll probably keep them at 14 the entire game. I'm going to try to resist the temptation to push up my batteries to 20. Keep them at a max of 16. So anyway, those are takeaways from the last battle. Now to get into reorganizing the army. We have plenty of troops to replenish our losses and get ready for the next battle. The next battle is Malvern Hill, and we can still bring 30 units. I'm going to invest in medicine, and that's going to take us up very nicely to 14%, and I think medicine is the thing to invest in. So we get a nice supply of very good weapons, and we're going to take both of those. And there's nothing else to take, so boy, that's really nice to have, though. So pretty much marksmanship training is what my infantry is going to do. But either one of these right two perks are good. The left perk is only good if you want to do a melee army, and I don't recommend that for the Union. The South is just too good. You have to, like, historically, the North had much larger armies, and they overwhelmed the enemy with big numbers and equipment and huge artillery batteries and divisions, and at the end of the war, tons of everything and enormous amounts of almost infinite supply, while the South had none of the above. So actually, for artillery, all three of these are pretty good. Either turn faster, fire faster, or be more accurate. And for some of these, I like just being able to fire faster. It's just being able to get more volleys out, particularly if you're doing canister. That's great. So pretty straightforward. How far can we pump these numbers up? That's free. That was expensive. This is going to hurt a lot. 5,000. Not horrible. That's horrible. Maybe I won't take this. This is a tough battle coming up. I'm probably going to have to take it all the way up to 2,500. So I seem to have run out of palmettos. Okay, I'll buy some palmettos. Free. Hopefully most of these are free. I have a bunch of Lorenzes. I like Lorenzes. Lorenzes have very nice accuracy, and they're not that fast, but they're very accurate, and they do a really good job. Of the middle tier weapons, the Lorenzes are, I like them. So very happy to have Lorenzes. And I just passed down the palmettos to the next best unit. So I checked to see how expensive it'll be to upgrade weapons, and if it's not horrible, then I'll go ahead and upgrade some weapons for this battle. Wow, that's hardly anything at all. And I have 11 free guns. Okay. Well, how much is this going to cost? Let's go ahead and max these out. Okay, so far, not too painful. Need one soldier there, and that's a 12, and yeah, next game I'm not going to push these to 24. I'm going to keep them at 16. I just really like batteries of 24. I just really like them. Okay, we can only take 15 in each one, so I have to move a division out. And I still have 5,700 men I can place, if I can place them in the space allowed. I'm allowed 3 more units and 5,700 men. So I'm adding up the number of guns I have, and I could take farmers, but I try to avoid that if I can. And most of these units look like they're going up. Boy, that unit really went up. Of course, I paid a lot of money for that too. But look how these units are, many of them are going up in, yeah, they still go up. Even if it's only one, they still go up in efficiency. Yeah, I bought a lot of new guns there. Wow, some of these really went up quite a bit. Now let's see what we can do. That is going to cost $38,000. No, that's a lot of money. That's $34,000. Painful. I really need to upgrade someone, and I guess it's going to be him. That's a huge hit, but okay. Because I have to free up some guns. I have to free up some 42s, or I have to buy some 42s. And what I want to do is pass good weapons down, because this is a good time to make an investment and pass some good weapons down. And then I have 3 more slots. So I can upgrade all these units. That's not very expensive. Okay. Neither is that. And do I lose efficiency? The whole question is, do I lose efficiency? So I can upgrade those. I can get that battery to 14 for almost nothing. And now 4,900. Oh, and artillery, a battery of Napoleons. So we'll get him started. Okay, 2,800 men to go. Well, that's less expensive than the other options. Still expensive, but okay, I need 2,500 of something, and I just got it. So that should free up rebores, which should allow me to pump up these units. Okay, so far I'm not losing efficiency. What I need is 1,700 rebores, and I only have 1,300. 1,368. If I let him small like that, I might be able to combine him easier into a unit that's already on the field, or I can use him to cover a flank or a flag, something like that. Or I can just, disband these units and make them more even. So those would be the choices. And all of those are okay. All those are, would work out just fine. And so what I was able to do was get 3 units, and I could only get X number of units. I had X number of guns, I had X number of men, and I got everybody in except 378. So yeah, that's pretty good. Now I have to reorganize my divisions, and you can pick divisions up and move them around. And so I'm just going to shuffle my divisions until I have 15 in each corps. And now I need to shuffle first division, my divisions around, so my best division in second corps is going to come in first. They're going to come in 2 batches, and I need first division to be the best division of second corps, so just shuffle those around. So that wasn't too terribly expensive to get ready for the next big battle. Replenished almost every unit I have, built some new units, bought lots of weapons. For me, that was buying a lot of weapons, and we're ready to go to the next battle. And it wasn't too horribly expensive.